Hello? I thought I would make a little video covering the Mythic Tindral kill we just got from like a hunter PoV. So I'm kind of gonna commentate it a little bit, and maybe you can pick up some tips for yourself, whether you're just a ranged player or a hunter. Some of the tips will be hunter specific. Some of it will just be like how I approach the fight, how I'm thinking about the fight, maybe going over mistakes I made during prog and even during the kill that you can learn from to enhance your own prog. So just kind of starting with the first choice that you have to make as a hunter, which is your build choice. So I'd say by the time you're looking at this video, which may be, I'm recording this mid-December, I suspect that the roots and the treants will be trivialized to the point that the better play, and this is already starting to happen in the meta, is just to play a full single target build. Obviously, a full single target build vastly simplifies how you play the fight in terms of cooldown usage and holding everything. So in this commentary, I'm gonna sort of talk about how you might play an AoE build, but keep in mind that, BM still loses quite a bit of single target when going for its AoE build. On the flip side, its AoE build is very good at what it does on this fight. Like, you can do a lot of roots damage, as we saw here. So this was our kill. Vines, I can't quite beat a demo lock, but then, to trade that off, I did do much more boss damage. But then we're not doing rogue kind of boss damage either. But you can imagine if I was playing full single target build, I would probably be quite close to or maybe beating the rogue. So you can either choose to do really good boss damage but not quite top, while also doing really good but not quite top AoE. Or you can drop all the AoE and you can do like some of the best boss damage in the game. It's kind of up to you. As for the specific build I ran as an AoE build here, I ran this. And so a bit of the rationale. So this is a pretty standard like Rylak Stalker's Piercing Fangs AoE build. One thing you'll notice that might be different is instead of going for like a 1 die command with 2 frill, I've gone for an extra die command and a die frenzy here. This just adds a little bit more single target at the cost of AoE. If you want an AoE build that does the most single target, actually this would be a little bit better. But since I was playing, also trying to maximize roots damage to some extent, I sacrificed a single point here in Dire Frenzy for just a little bit of a single target loss, and I grabbed a Wild Call. Wild Call is super important here for lining your Bestial Revs up with as many root sets as possible. Because without it, you're not getting any Barb Shot resets at all, which means that your Bestial Rev cooldowns are longer, and sort of timing everything is a bit more difficult without Wild Call. You can still totally do it, like these are all very minor changes, but that's how I ended up playing on the kill. Another decision you'll have to make is around Bloody Frenzy or Wild Instincts. So they're very, very close on single target. Like, a lot of people think of the Bloody Frenzy as like the AoE pad talent. And it does do that very well, but like the single target difference over like a 5-minute fight is only like 1%. And if you're looking at like a 90-second window with no lust, I was doing sims. And actually Bloody Frenzy like can win by a second. And why is that? Well, Bloody Frenzy is much more front-loaded. So a lot of Wild Instinct's value, if we look at what it does, like you stack this debuff that makes your kill command do more damage. A lot of the value from this talent actually comes after your cooldowns have ended. And after your cooldowns have ended, the shield has also ended. But while the shield is up on this boss, you're doing 50% more damage. So having a more front-loaded talent in Bloody Frenzy kind of evens out the gap you would otherwise have between these two on single target. Another reason you might consider running Bloody Frenzy is that even if you're running maybe a pure single target build, you could drop a single point in here. And on a particularly difficult set in phase 3 of roots, and once again, when you're looking at this may not be that difficult at all, but like we were sort of we went from like a 630 best pull to like a kill. So we didn't want to risk like getting here and then wiping to not having enough damage on this hard set of roots. And so for that reason, I held my CDs for it. And to pretty good results. So that was the damage to that particular set of roots with my CDs, and that's largely thanks to a Dire Frenzy. Just look at all the stomp damage. But you can also sacrifice that for a little bit of extra single target with Wild Instincts. But I think, like, considering how little you lose, like less than 1% most likely, and like how much you can help trivialize this set, I think it's a decent trade. But, up to you. And also, if you're running a full single target build, chances are you might not be running either of these. But I think it's a pretty low-cost dip for quite a bit of extra AoE on the one set that kind of matters in phase 3. So yeah, a lot of choices there. Another question I'll probably get is like, okay, why not Die Pack? Die Pack is totally fine here. So I basically had this build and a Die Pack build, which was the only difference was moving this and obviously these talents over here. So Die Pack build would look something like this. this is also fine. The reason I didn't end up running was because like I basically simmed, so they did basically the same single target, these two builds. But one just did way more AoE and it had a bit more burst, and that was the Rylak Stalker's build. Perhaps largely thanks to, I was getting PI on this, so this can also change your decision to run any of these builds. And, you know, it might be worth running some sims on your own character to decide this. For the rest of my setup, I ran Branch. Branch is totally fine on this boss. I ran 119, so on the pull, due to like sort of like a matter of practicality, I was running like 116, meaning, you know, pick up 2 orbs, then this, as we're running out for the first 5 beams, you'll see that later. Actually, I'll just talk about this during the kill, why not? We're doing it live. So yeah, with all that out of the way, let's hop into the kill here. All right. So obviously I'm hugging my evoker here because, and you'll see him kind of try and follow me around because he's very keen to get his buffs on me for the pull because I'm getting PI and everything. So, you know, another element of min-maxing your damage here is like communicating with your orcs. If they intend to buff you, sometimes you may have to help them a little bit, and you're a BM hunter, so that's pretty easy by standing on them and so on. So you can see I'm planted right on top of the star mark, the evoker here, and you'll see, so I pop my CDs here, and I go grab my first 2 branch orbs, and I get back on him as soon as possible. And you'll see here coming up are the first 5 beams. So, and also there's a time spiral here. I pop my cheetah at the very end of that time spiral because it's free value, right? And then I go out and grab this orb here. So that's like 116 is basically what I managed in that branch. All right. Then I run out kind of far here, being kind of aggressive on my barb shots to get my Beast of Wrath cooldown down for the roots. Not that it really matters too much, but you know, doesn't hurt to get the Beast of Wrath off. You can just send it on cooldown. And here's another little detail. Given how long most root sets last, you don't have to hold your CDs for the roots because you just kind of want to send them as quickly as possible. But if you can hold just a little bit, then all you really need to do is send your Beast of Wrath when there's roughly 8 seconds left on the root timer on your big wigs. If you do that, then you'll basically have Beast of Wrath coverage for the first few globals of your root damage, which is like where most of it gets done. So that's something to keep an eye out for. But of course, this one comes off cooldown. I'm just going to send it immediately. There's 5 seconds left. It's going to easily cover here. Obviously, these 5 beams killed a lot of people as they moved through melee on this stage. So that's something you want to keep an eye out for. We had a person like call if there was one 5 beam coming through melee. All right, just, you know, cast a beast multi-shot at like 1.5 seconds left. Hit some kill commands on the roots. And that's pretty much like 90% of the value you're going to get there. Alright, this set is a little bit variable depending on your wild call procs if you're gonna get the Beast of Wrath here. I'm not gonna manage, I'm just about gonna manage, but more importantly here, this one I actually disengage. So as soon as it goes on me, I disengage it. And then you'll see this reminder here for the survival of the fittest. I use that to mitigate the falling star here. Now, by late proc, I didn't really need to do this, but this is like a 640k hit unmitigated, and there's already damage going out to the root. So if you want to help your healers, this is in phase 1. This is a great time to send your survival of the fittest defensive. Also, another thing, and this will be important later on, like past like maybe this point of the platform, if you go out here, it's a kill zone. It kills you after like 3 seconds, and a lot of people like got caught out by that. So yeah, don't run too far back here. I disengage back, but then I quickly run back in. And I get, I think, my Beast of Wrath off here and like a kill command on these. These lasted quite a while because we moved CDs away from them to the boss. Alright. So the spell 4 position here, I'm basically, that means I'm all the way to the left. Some people do, so we're dispelling right to left. Some people are doing left to right. You know, basically, as a hunter, you'll almost always be 3 or 4, depending a bit on, you know, the specifics of your guild. 4 is pretty easy. You're basically just all the way out to the side, and you just want to be close to the outer circle of the person next to you. So in this case, that's 3. I'm kind of getting close to 3. Also, another thing here, as a hunter, you'll most likely have to run a freedom pet. So that's a cunning pet. I ran an Akiri pet. You can see the creature type right here. And an Akiri pet is, like it has 30% more movement speed than other pets. Doesn't really matter that much because it's not like you're doing big target swaps, but you know, none of the other pets really have anything that provides a benefit. So I figured, why not? And you'll see here, Vigor is telling me to free Night Danker. So that basically means mouse over Master's Call, the mage, and you'll see me do that. I'm going to slow down the video here. So free Night Danker, you can see me move my mouse over, and I hit the Master's Call on them, and now they're free to move. And at the same time, like while I'm doing that, I'm having to manage precasting my Beast Cleave into these root sets. And this time I didn't actually get a freedom myself, so you'll see I just disengage it on my own. A little bit of a later treant than what is ideal, but it's kind of fine. Normally I would have gotten a freedom there. That would have been ideal. Everyone gateways here. Obviously I didn't have to since I was Dispel Form. And that marks the end of phase 1. Now, something a lot of people are forgetting on the flight is you have to use the second wind ability that you have on your bar. So make sure you've leveled up your Dragonriding. And what I recommend is using one of those abilities in this phase and 2 of them in the next phase, because the next flight is a little bit harder than the first. But basically, you fly up, you send your Whirling Surge. So this is sort of the ideal, or maybe at least my take on a pretty good rotation for your flight. So obviously you fly up, Whirling Surge, and then on the next global, you pop your second wind, the only one you will use on this flight. And then you you wait for like 1200% speed, and then you pop your, you just go forward. And very important not to hit any red ones. It's not so much about the damage the red ones do, but they also steal vigor from you. So make sure that you're not hitting anything here, like I do there, like really stupid. You can even see it on my facial expression. So don't make that mistake. You want to hop up a little bit there. Here I try to land on the star marker, which is the evoker. And as I pop my CDs, I'm trying to stay on him while also getting my 1-2 branch stacks. And now we're just kind of pumping here. And you can see I'm inching away from a final branch hop, but I'm going to try and grab as late as possible. So what we're doing there is a 119 branch. All right. So coming out here. So I'm not going to pop this. So I popped this. Normally I would not have popped this Beast of the Wrath immediately, but I ended up getting pretty lucky with resets here. But what you might choose to do, especially if you need root damage at all, like before the boss damage really matters, which it will at the end of your progression, you can just hold that second Beast of the Wrath for like when there's 8 seconds left on this set of roots, as we talked about in phase 1. So I'm just Spell 4, and that's why I'm pre-positioned here, because I know like if it's pretty likely that I'll get the mechanic. And if I do, I know that I'll pretty much always be Dispel number 4. So here I get my Beast of Wrath off, and then multi-shot straight into this set. I didn't really play this optimally. I think I've hit the kill command a little bit soon. Alright, so here come the seed mechanic. My assignment was basically the basically heuristic I was following was grab the one that's closest to the fire on the left-hand side at all times. So, and you know, if there's one like super far out, but they're all equally, let's say this one didn't exist, I would have grabbed the most left one. So I'm sort of chasing the closest to the fire and then the most left one in sort of that order of priority. And it's good to have a heuristic like that and one that you have agreed with the people around you, so that, you know, because you will have quite a lot of wipes to both missed seeds and double soaks from confusion and all that. So this is worth communicating about outside of the raid. All right, pop to get back in here. Most likely getting this Dispel here. So let's see. I didn't end up getting it, but I would just have gone out there to Dispel number 4. All right, here comes a pretty hard root set. Early on in prog, I was actually using CDs on this, but this time I'm not. But first we have seeds. So obviously mine is way out there, so I'm gonna try and chase that. Someone else goes for it first though, so I'm just gonna grab this one that's much closer. The difficult part of this set is that you need to do your seed soak and then get to melee really quickly for these entangles. And another element of difficulty there is that as people are trying to like panic get to melee, they will often stack on each other. And you'll see Survival of the Fittest is just barely not up for this. Maybe if I'd popped it a little bit sooner in phase 1, you can actually reliably Survival of the Fittest this. That's something to try. But I mean, the main thing is just like, don't panic. Make sure that you're in any relevant darkness things. Don't be stacked on a bunch of people. But most importantly, be in here early. You don't want to be out there if you can help it. And once again, just Beast of Wrath, multi-shot, kill command. Yeah, I get another freedom assignment, but I didn't end up actually needing to do it. So I kind of sent it prematurely there. Because I think we had a little bit of stuff with our weak guard there. So I'm not quite sure what that was about. Alright. So here I once again get assigned to freedom, but it doesn't end up being relevant. I got the spell by someone else. Here actually, so this is a little bit of a mistake. And the thing is, so this is something you can learn from. So the dispel is maybe a little bit late, but I could have dwarfed myself, so I can't really blame anyone else for this. So that's another thing. You know, if there's a lot going on and there's a bit of panic, especially in phase 3, you can just, like, as long as your weak aura says that you can get dispelled now, you can just like dwarf your way out. And dwarf is kind of nice for both this fight and Fire X, so that's something you could consider. But yeah, I'm kind of like lingering here, staring at my ray frames, and I don't realize that the entanglement is coming up. So that's my bad. I end up going for this. I'm way out, so I make the judgment call to disengage it, spawning an extra treant, but I warn my guild it's gonna happen. It's a little bit messy, so not optimally, that's definitely a mistake you don't want to repeat. But it ends up working out reasonably well, and that's actually the end of phase 2, after we do that final root soak. Alright, so remember here the flight, you want to use 2-second wind, so we fly up, we send Whirling Surge, then we send a second wind charge, you can even see it down here, then a surge forward, and then another second wind. And then once again, I hit another one, and I'm actually super late here. Super important not to hit any of these red orbs on the way, like I did there. Not for the damage, but because it puts you behind. And now you can see I'm quite far behind here. Like I'm landing just as the Supernova Shield is starting. So that's something you can learn from. Be a better pilot than me, for sure. Alright, so once again, we do 1-1, and then grab the final orb really late. So 1-1-9 here. Alright, coming up at the first set of roots, you can just send this Beast of the Wrath straight off cooldown. Nothing worth waiting for. You maybe hold like a kill command charge here, but a little bit, but not too much, because we're trying to optimize boss damage. And also this set will be killed by the birds pretty easily, right? So, but it still helps to do a little bit of damage, because like if it dies from the first bird, that's a little bit easier to play than the second. Now here, for this set of seeds, you basically have to think of the previous seed soaking assignments to be like flipped 180 degrees. So instead of being like over there, let's see, so bottom left if you were looking out towards the edge of the platform. Instead, I'm basically top right when looking that way. But you know, if we look into the platform, I'm bottom left. I hope that makes sense. So once again, I'm trying to get the one closest to the imaginary fire. Let's imagine the fight was flipped and we still had the fire here. So that's the one I'm trying to grab here. All right. And then we actually have a little bit of a chill time. So there's a regular dispel coming out here. This is very similar to phase 2. So those come out here. Not on me, but you can see they'll just make a line back here. And you can see I'm waiting for the 8-second mark on these roots before I pop my Beast of the Wrath just now. And so Death Chakram I didn't really end up bothering trying to save for roots, but I'm just sending it for boss damage because like it's just an extra global you have to manage, and it's better to just try and squeeze the most out of your Beast Cleave for root sets in my opinion. Alright, so here once again, multi-shots, as soon as they spawn, kill command, barb shot, kill command, and that's basically the most damage you can do there. So this is a completely normal seed soak. I'm going to grab the one closest to the fire on the left side. I'm going to call that one exists. But generally I was being a bit too mouthy on the kill for my Radiator's taste. Alright, so here you can see I have a warning to survival of the fittest. But that you don't really need to do that here. I did that because I was really afraid of dying here, as I've done on previous pulls. But that was mostly just from stacking up. Like, you have a ton of time to position yourself here. So really just, you know, don't be completely stupid positioned. Don't be stacked with more than like 2 other people. And then it's just, you know, standard fare, kill command, barb shot, kill command. So now we get the dispels at the exact same time. And I get the assignment to Freedom Preppy here. Which don't end up having to do. But I basically have to be broken out, and then I have to go to my regular number 4 position. So I'm kind of waiting on that. Okay, and now you can see, so this is the one where everyone gateways. 1 and 2 have already gone out. So let me show you like this. So 1 and 2, I go out here to get dispelled rather quickly. 3 and 4 are not going to get dispelled until after everyone takes the gateway. Normally you might take the gateway here. I just end up disengaging, like whatever kind of works. Number 3 is here, and he's sort of standing here next to the old fire. And I'm going to basically hug close to him and sort of out of the way and not place my fire too badly. So there's my dispel. And now it's just a big fire beam dodge. And I'm kind of praying for some wild cold procs to get my Beast of the Wrath down for this set of roots. And I kind of just about manage. Alright, and then once again, kill command, barb shot, kill command, and then multi-shot, kill command. And here once again a set of roots, and I end up going for the one closest to the fire on the left once again. Alright, and you can see this pop timer. This timer is set for around 6:33. And that is when you want to pop, if you're running the Bloody Frenzy build, and you're holding your CDs for this difficult set of roots coming up that we have to break manually, which is what I was doing. That's around the timer you want to go for, because that's when the dispels are, imagine if I gotten the dispel, that's when they would mostly be sorted. And I grab my roots here in melee, stick to melee, I think I pop, I don't actually end up popping my survival of the fittest here, I used it earlier. But once again, don't position stupidly. And then, of course, with your CDs, SBM, we're just kind of blasting here. You can see I almost die there, very close. And I think this is probably a better set to send Survival of the Fittest on. It's more reliable, because Falling Star also coincides with this. And like, this is just a terrible time to die, because after this part, the fight is a little bit easier. So yeah, definitely a mistake to learn from there. But here we are, just popping the CDs. Like, that could so easily have been not as good as it ended up being with the kill here. All right, so next set of roots, using Barb Shot aggressively to try and get my CDs down. And I believe this is the set that we break. At this point, we haven't gotten to this part ever before, so we're kind of playing on panic. But yeah, this is the one we disengaged, a bit like phase 1. And then it's Seed Soaks, and I grabbed the one farthest to the left here. I could probably have grabbed that one, but it ended up working out. All right, here's another set of dispels. And these dispels, like if your boss HP is low enough, you might not even do these dispels. I think the threshold that most people consider is around 3%. Our boss is on 4.4%, so we end up dispelling them. All right, now here's the final set of roots. And this is also using a freedom here on the Evoker. And I mean, we're really mostly focused on killing the boss here rather than the root, because there's nothing more happening. This is the enrage of the fight. This is the end. There's nothing more happening. So just do a lot of damage. I die in the roots. I could probably have held CDs better to live, but we ended up getting the kill, which we were quite pleased with on the final pull of the night. So I hope that helps. Any questions, discussions, suggestion, feedback, anything, please leave a comment. And if you like the video, please subscribe. And yeah, thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.